seated.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on podcasts, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and talklawradio.com. If you are interested in something that's happening in the law, chances are I've talked about it. You may be able to search talklawradio.com and find episodes in the past that I've done that are archived. And you can go to YouTube and do the same thing. There's a search function there. You just click on the magnifying glass and type whatever it is you're interested in. And if you watch enough of my videos, you might want to click subscribe. Today we're talking with Debbie Pearson, the founder of Care4, a caregiving company. I'm not even sure if I can do it justice by just saying that. So, Debbie, why don't you give us your elevator pitch? What is...
Of Care4?
Right, the short answer.
Care4 is a company that comes in and figures out what an individual patient needs to live their best life. And we do that through professional care managers, nurses, and social workers. So that's one leg. The second leg is caregivers. The third leg is we are a guardianship program when people do not have family to step into that role. Or if they don't have family but they have full cognitive capacity, we will serve as medical power of attorney when people need someone professional to do that. And then we're a planning company where we help people plan their road ahead of them, so that if they at some point are unable to speak for themselves, everything is documented, what they want, what they don't want, and what their resources are for them to do what they want.
That's
enough?
That's the most fantastic elevator speech I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was a good
You
one.
didn't even skip a beat. Well, we have to move on just a bit. We'll come back to caregiving. But this is the Sinners and Saints segment.
I'm a lover, I'm a child, I'm a mother, I'm a sinner, I'm
There's
a
music
saint.
playing right now, so if we had the headphones on, we could dance more fully. Okay, so the reason I talk about sinners and saints is because I also like to talk about the gospel. I'm a religious person. And when I was starting my practice, I was telling my pastor that I was looking for office space. And our church, just by coincidence at that time, wanted to start another church. And so he said, well, why don't we get one of those strip center offices, and then we can have the church in one, and you can have your office right next door, and we could call it Law and Gospel. And I held on to that in the back of my mind for about 10 years. And then when I started doing this show, I thought, I want to talk about the Law and Gospel, except I'm not going to talk about the Old Testament, which is really the law of the Bible. I'm going to talk about Texas law and United States law. And then I got real passionate about the Constitution. I've been talking about that a lot lately.
Yeah.
Well, what goes along with law and gospel in the church that I go to is we study Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a theologian that nailed the 95 Thesis to the door at the Catholic Church. And he said, we're all sinners and saints. But we're sinners, but we're absolved because of what Jesus did for us on the cross. And so the Sinners and Saints segment is based on that. I look for news or somebody in the community, somebody that did something bad or that it allegedly did something bad. And then I look for somebody that did something good. Occasionally, it's the same person. And so today I wanted to talk about Lincare, there was an article published in ProPublica about how Lincare became a multi-billion-dollar Medicare scofflaw. What the article essentially says is that Lincare provides medical equipment. You've heard of it, right?
Oh, yeah, they're huge.
And over the years, many times, they have allegedly overcharged Medicare, or they've provided bad service to elderly clients. Whenever you provide bad service to elderly clients, people get upset. And so they're being investigated again for something or rather. But as I read the article, it became more complicated. The author of the article suggested that if this company is so bad, why don't the government just shut it down? And the answer is that there's a public policy reason for supporting medical equipment companies, because it's in the interest of patients to keep the medical equipment flowing, from those who have it to those who need it. And so it's not really a shut it down type of issue, because patients would also be hurt because of that. They wouldn't have the equipment that they needed.
Right.
So this is a classic sinners and saints example that there's maybe some bad. I can't say that there is because I don't want to get in trouble.
Right. Well, there are probably allegations at this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So I just like to mention the sinners and saints. It's not the focus of the show. The focus of the show is today is caregivers and the holidays. And Shannon, you've probably seen this too. People that like to bring grandmother or grandfather to a real holiday party. I mean, not just a gathering and a meal, but like drinking and dancing and whatever else,
Lampshade on the head.
Right,
Yeah.
a real party. What are some challenges with bringing somebody with diminished capacity to an event like that?
Mainly knowing that it may go well and it may not go well. And if it doesn't go well, then you have to be comfortable leaving. So if you don't want to leave, then bring someone else along with you, but watch and see the response of your loved one. If they are elderly and they have dementia, they may jump in and think they know everybody, even if they don't, and have a great time, or they may be very frightened, and you can offload them from the party and take them to a smaller place to see if you can settle them down and then re-enter. But if that doesn't work, someone has to take them home. So going in knowing that may have to happen and being prepared.
In hindsight, that probably makes a lot of sense. I just wanted you to say it because I'm sure that there's people out there that, that they just don't even think of all of the issues that might come up.
Right.
Where somebody's agitated and they don't really fully know what's going on. And so you can't really reason with them, right?
And you can't judge it in advance. You just need to be prepared.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have another question here about the holidays. How about those seniors that are home that are not receiving a visitor? What could that be like?
Sad. And there are a lot of people that don't receive visitors. Places, food deliveries like Meals on Wheels, at least if they're on a service like that, they will come on the holidays and they can be seen. But, some people that are at home, holidays are just another day and they don't really know what the day is. But any kind of church volunteers or someone from the community that can deliver meals. We deliver holiday meals to people because not all of our patients have families. So we make sure they're taken care of. But, just living with a kind heart and having concern for people that may not have what you have. We don't have enough of that. We could all do better. So, take it on personally because there are people who will miss it.
Tell us about those people that you take care of that don't have families. How does it work practically where your company is actually the guardian?
Yeah. There are a lot of people that we may or may not be guardian, but whether we're the guardian or whether we're the care manager or the medical power of attorney and they don't have family, they are our responsibility. And most of our patients we work with for years. We have patients, the company's 25 years old in January, and we have patients that have been with us for decades, and we have patients that are actually the children of our patients.
Oh, wow.
So it is very much a family. We own the well-being and the happiness of our patients, and they are in our thoughts all the time, and we do not let them down.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's a needed service. We got to take another break. When we come back, we'll be talking about legacy. We'll talk a little more about your company too, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned. One more segment.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law Radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.